What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to another edition of If They Only Knew. Alright, we got a special guest today. First time on the show, so let's go ahead and introduce yourself.
Ron Kinsey, also known as Preach Atlas, Jojo Burgundy,
AKA.
all kind of AKAs.
That's what's up, y'all. Alright, so you was introduced to me through K-Rod. Everybody know about K-Rod. He's been on here like 5 times and some shit, yo. He's a vet on here. He told me you got an interesting story. From what I've heard, I mean, it's an amazing story. Alright, so let's just jump right in it. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Are you from Atlanta?
Now, I'm from Florida, born and raised in Jacksonville, Duval County. We all know that regular ass city. Loving to death. Yeah, terrible.
Yo, the crazy thing is I go to Jacksonville to vacation. That's crazy. I go to Jacksonville Beach. I've been up there like 10, 12 times and shit. I love it up there, yo.
Yeah,
And Quran, everybody's like
yeah,
fucking bullshit ass Jacksonville. I'm like, man, that shit is nice, yo.
Yeah, but you haven't been
I
so
love it
bad.
for about a week and a half and I really
Yeah.
hello.
That's crazy. Okay, so you from Jacksonville, born and raised. How long you been in Atlanta?
1996 was the first venture up here.
Okay, 96. So you been here just as long as I have been.
96 off and on. You get into some shit, you get held back home where it's safe.
Uh-huh.
Kinda.
So, tell me a little bit about your childhood coming up, growing up in Jacksonville.
Oh shoot, bro. Truth be told, I was born in Destin, which is vacation capital of, Panhandle, Redneck Riviera, all that stuff down that way.
Okay.
But mom and dad got divorced, and that's how I ended up in Jacksonville. 10 years old when I got there, moved straight to the gutter. So you go straight from being a military brat to being dropped off next to these motherfuckers. Basically, being light skinned was a problem.
Yeah.
Growing up. But the realest thing I ever learned was how to blend in. Because the first thing you didn't want to do is stand there and get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
Because kids had gold teeth in the 6th grade when I was coming up. Gold teeth and dreads and everybody's about as black as that laptop.
So is it like a culture shock for you? Like, I mean, was this new to you or?
Absolutely. I
Okay.
mean, because Jacksonville, my grandmother migrated there like in the 60s and 70s, you know what I'm saying? So like all my family basically lives on my mom's side, lives in Jacksonville, 23rd Myrtle Avenue. But we just had a bear sighting actually.
Yeah. Okay, that's what's up. So, I mean, gold teeth, dreads, everything was just new to you. I mean, when you say you blended in, did you try to fit in? Or did you just like stay in the middle where you wasn't really seen, but you wasn't really, one of those nerds, but you wasn't really out there, you didn't jump off the porch yet? Or did you just jump right in?
I jumped right in. First of all, I spoke proper English, which was one of the first things that get you noticed where we come from. So I spoke proper English and dressed nice, and this was back in the days when kids would get their shoes stolen and shit. So I'm walking around with Flight 89s and not knowing how to trim the fuck down.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time I walked out my grandmother's house. There was one other light-skinned kid named Jay that lived on my block, and when he looked at me like he had never seen another light-skinned kid in the neighborhood. And he looked at me like, yo, you walking to school? I was like, yeah. He said, where you going? I said, I'm going to RV Daniels. Cool, we can walk together, we cousins. I was like, I don't think this is the way this works, but all right. But I understood exactly why he said that shit. Like 2 blocks down the road, when we got down the road, first time I was ever called a pussy-ass nigga was I walking down the street with this light-skinned cat, and I saw the bus stop, and the dude like, and the little girl's like, oh, who are you? You cute. I'm like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, fuck old light-skinned pussy-ass nigga. And I was like, okay, well shit, welcome, I'm here. So we walked down the street, and there was this kid named Bernard. He was driving a Cadillac, and it was the funniest shit because he was going to my school. And you gotta, he was driving. But at the same time, this is the 6th, 7th grade when I was, he was in my same class.
Yeah, he was driving.
He was driving. So I was like, okay, I'm lost. Gold teeth and everything. Like, but he was light skinned too.
Yeah.
Now, this cat pulls over. He's like, y'all need to ride to school? And I'm looking at Jay like, shit, I don't really want to walk. It's hot in the fuck. But he's like, nah, good, don't do it. All right, cool. So he pulls off. Gonna find out later on this was the plug in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? But these motherfuckers in the 7th grade. His whole family, they was heavy and dope.
He was born into that shit.
I just straight up, I walked right into that shit. And I was like, the first time I actually got respect, like, I was terrified the whole fucking first year that I was, this is 6th grade, I was terrified. But I got into school and kind of blended and mingled with everybody else. And I always, I guess, had a personality where everybody kind of gravitated towards me and shit. But the first time I got called a nigga, I didn't even know how to take it because, you know, my whole family black. We call each other nigga all day long.
Yeah.
So when first time I heard nigga out of hate, I ended up instantly grabbing him by the neck, and Bernard and all his goons was around. Nigga, hit that nigga good, hit that nigga good. So I hit his ass. And right then and there, all of that shit, all that fear stopped because the niggas on my back.
Yeah.
And it's the same cat that introduced me into selling dope. So he kind of like, after I got cool with them and whatnot, there was a school, not, you know, what was Butler was off of,
That's on
Eugene Butler.
That's on
That's on Jackson. Yeah. So he was like, cuz, you wanna make some money? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? He said, take this shit over here to this purple house next to Eugene Butler. Gave me beach cruise and everything. So that was my first transaction, didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I went to go take it to the motherfucker. I forget what his name was, but we'll leave that out.
Yeah.
I dropped the cookie off. Cookie and crack. And the dude gave me the money, when they drove, I rolled it back, took Bernard's money, and he broke me off $100. I was like, shit.
Okay.
I ain't bet. So right then, I was
7th grade, $100 was a lot of money.
$100, I'm good. Gucci, let's go. So I got into that. I started doing that more in school. So, because I was in the gifted classes like my kid.
Yeah.
I was always a little bit more intelligent than other kids, so they used to bust us off, and I used to do marine biology and all kind of shit before 5th grade.
That's what's up.
So all that shit went to shit as soon as I got
So did you ever get caught up?
Shit, honestly,
Sent up the road?
Not. I got in a jam one time with a homeboy, a quarter key and a 3.5 grams of 100% heroin. That wasn't later on until like 2001.
Yeah.
So you got to figure this in the late 80s, 90s when I started really getting into shit like that. In '89, I think, when I moved to Jackson.
So you said fuck school completely, or
Nah, I kept
you
doing
did
what
both?
I had to because you know you still like even today you still got to keep some sort of front.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you got to go to school and you make money on the side. I used to pay girls to do my homework and shit. I test well, but I study and that ain't my shit. I don't do that.
Okay. That's what's up. Well, at least you didn't get caught up and shit. Yo, that's.
I didn't
That's
start
a
getting locked
spiral.
up until I moved to this motherfucking neighborhood.
Oh man.
Until I moved to that, I ain't never been locked up. Now I did do a juvie DDC detention one time.
Yeah.
Dumbasses. When you get kicked out of school, right? I got kicked out of school for fighting, but I got kicked out of school and they sent you to another school where everybody been kicked out.
Yeah.
So everything's worse of the worst. The teachers are horrible. Everything's fucked up. Grandpa, we all love it. GP. Love Grandpa. But they put you in the schools and shit where the teachers failed at regular classes. You know what I'm saying? They sucked. So they stuck them over there and did with the class 3 offense kids. Them had guns, drugs, fights, and shit like that. So I was over there. And the funniest shit about that story, one kid had pulled a gun on the teacher and got kicked out of school, but the teacher got sent to the same fucking school where the kid had pulled the gun on him, so he sat in his class. So every day, until I heard the story, I wonder why the teacher would sit there and just look at this kid
Automatic
all day.
A.
Straight up, he just look at this kid all day long. What the fuck going on? He said, yeah, I put a pistol on his ass. Help me. So you get kicked out of school, the teacher gets kicked out, but in the same fucking school with you, where you gotta look at this dude that pulled a gun on you every day.
Alright, well, man, that's crazy.
Good time.
Yeah. Alright, well let's jump into when you finally got caught up and shit. You know, was that? What did you do? Like major time? Was it just through the system?
Here's the shit.
Oh shit! All right, that's it.
This is the beauty of it. Now, K-Rod can attest to all the shit I was through.
Yeah.
It was fun, but at the same time stressful as shit. And it was just one particular time, me and my homeboy, he put me on in the 8th grade. White kid. Put me on, he had all the plugs, had anything you can name, LSD, anything you can name. We get hemmed up because this motherfucker didn't listen. This is my biggest problem I have with people in the world. When I see something, trust me, it ain't right.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's one particular kid wanted, he been selling them half ounces and shit all the time. But one particular time he ended up wanting a whole quarter key. So you know, I mean, we dump a half
Red
ounce.
alert. Oh my God.
Right off the rip.
Yeah.
And this is after my homeboy came back from Colombia. He comes back from Colombia, but he had 80 bars in his stomach, heroin.
Damn.
And our whole goal, you know, in the business, you want to get to where you don't want to have nobody front you nothing. So our whole goal was trying to get to our own kilo money. So that's where that shit happened.
Damn.
So right there is we got to the point we was bamming like a quarter key a week. So but this one particular kid, he used to pull all his money together with all his dope fiend friends, and they would just buy it all at one time.
Yeah.
So when he said he wanted a quarter key, I'm sitting in my house, and I'm just sitting there chilling, and I had a 7-gram play on some cloud, and I was just waiting on him to come through lunchtime.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting on the couch just bullshit, minding my own fucking business, when I get a knock at the door, no phone call or nothing, I get a knock at the door, and it's my homeboy. And he said, "Hey man, what you doing?" I'm like, "Shit, waiting on my homeboy Derek to come through and pick this shit up. I got these driving." For what? He's like, let's call him Chris.
Yeah.
Chris want a kilo. He want a quarter kilo. And the heroin. I'm like, wait a minute, you talking about 30, Chris? It's a $7,400 play at the time back in the day. It was $7,400 for the motherfucking powder. And then you want to get 3.5 grams of pure heroin. Jacksonville hadn't seen pure heroin in years.
Yeah.
So this guy. So I'm leery to begin with in the first place, and I never forget how I got dressed. Adam Scalilla, we used to call them hoe shorts. Now everybody wearing shorts that fit. You know what I'm saying? So I had on a pair of Tommies, and I was thinking to myself, I remember I had the coat in my pocket, waiting on Derek to come through. And he was like, "Yeah man, I think you're gonna try something, man. I just need you to have a back."
Yeah.
All right, fuck it. So I remember I remember slipping on a pair. We wear Havana Joes, like slip-on shoes, right? I was gonna put them bitches on, but something said, just in case I need to run, let me go and put these Terrell Davises on.
Yeah.
So I slipped my shorts on top of another pair of shorts, and I ride with this cat. To this day, I've never watched the movie Pitch Black. I hate this movie to this day.
Oh yeah.
Because we went to the house to go vacuum up everything, pack everything, get it right. And I'm telling this cat the whole time, I said, "Dog, this motherfucker barely has $1,000 at one time. Why the fuck are you gonna make this whole play for all of this shit?"
Yeah.
So he has it. He goes. We sitting at the house, and he put Pitch Black on. So I'm sitting on this fucking couch, battling out cold, smoking weed, and I'm just paranoid as shit the whole time. And he's pacing back and forth, and I'm looking at this motherfucker, man, you know me out. He's like, "Man, something ain't right about this motherfucker." I said, "No, it sounds like a fucking setup." He's like, "I think the motherfucker gonna try to rob me." I'm like, "Nah, he ain't got the balls to rob you, but something ain't right." Mind you, 2 weeks prior till we went to go drop some shit off with this motherfucker, and he didn't make the move.
I got it. So both of y'all are feeling like this shit ain't right, but you still going through with it. Was it the money? I mean,
it was the money because we had just
Mm-hmm.
learned how to blend. You take 4.5 and put 4.5 with it and mash it. So we had just started. This is after the heroin trip to Colombia and shit. So we had just learned how to mash everything and make these blocks. So he's always running. And he was like one of the white dudes that he knew a lot about drugs, but he don't believe in God. And I have, my grandmother was she was an evangelist, so she would always tell me stuff. But if I backtrack and tell you the week before, this is Friday the 13th, this is why I'll never forget this shit. 7 days prior till the previous Friday, my mother ran into him at the mall and told him, "Hey," because my grandma never met this guy, but my grandma told my mom about a dream she had with me, a white guy, and a dude that looked like he was from Miami Vice in an all-white suit on Clay Road, getting and black dogs, and they were taking us in handcuffs off into the woods. So I'm thinking, well, my mama told me about this shit. My mama told me about this shit, and I was like, "Ain't no damn Clay Roads in Florida."
Yeah.
So I didn't think shit about it. But my grandma was always like that. So my mom tells the story to my homeboy, and she ran into him in the mall randomly the Friday before this shit happened. And he didn't believe in God until this day. So after pitch black goes off, as soon as the credits start rolling, the phone rings. And it's the dude. My homeboy goes, motherfucker, I've been waiting on your fucking ass. I watched the whole fucking movie waiting on you. What the fuck you doing? Like, yeah, I'm gonna meet you at the Winn-Dixie. What's the tab again? And he said, motherfucker, 74. And I went, fuck. So now you just implicated a price. This dude, we had, like, 2 weeks prior to this day, he said he ran from the police. He had a fucking white Nissan Pup, like a pickup truck. Bitch, you're not running from Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. You're not running from the JSO in a motherfucking Nissan Pup. You know, it's just not happening. So sure enough, I never liked the guy. I never liked that dude in the first place. So sure enough, I look at him, I say, why the fuck did you just do that? And last minute, we had just bought a vacuum seal, one of those the freezer joints where you suck all the air out and you're supposed to keep the food fresh, but one of the food saving joints. We had just bought one of them motherfuckers. And we had all the bags. Last minute he decides to switch the bag and reseal a potato bag with all the dope in it. So it's a smaller bag. I remember saying, why the fuck did you do that? And we got in the car, we rode out, and we never took the regular route, the normal route. We decided to take this back road. This back road, I'm sitting in the passenger seat and I'm looking at my own like, this shit just don't feel good. We get to the light, get ready to make this right turn, and the light goes from green to yellow, and we make the right turn on the yellow. And I never forget the feeling I got when that motherfucker said, I don't fucking believe this shit. I said, I told this motherfucker set us up. And I never saw the police lights, but I just knew it was happening. We pull over on this street that ends up being a dirt road that is after it rained, so it looked like clay. So my first thought was, fuck. I see this trailer park and it looks like vegetation on the side, like my grandmother saw a jungle. I saw this shit. So I'm sitting there and they gave him a ticket for going through the red light. And he says, sir, actually, so I saw a second car. Whenever you see a second goddamn car, period, that's a problem.
Right.
But it happened to be the second car was K9, and I looked in the rear view like, he fucked us. He said, man, don't say that shit. I said, he fucked us. What fuck? So, we played the role. Me and this dude, we ran so hard for like 4 or 5 years, like every day. It was weeks at a time. We'd be out running from Orlando, Miami, Green Cove. We were just everywhere moving shit. And this motherfucker here said, the cop goes, yeah, we're doing an operation right now where we're just trying. You mind if we search your car? And he goes, that's not our car, but okay. Get out the car. And I remember the dog never alerted me. So the first thought was, okay, yeah, of course we D-tapped because he didn't have to have his phone tapped. The dude that we was going to go meet, he apparently got jammed up those 2 weeks prior to when he said he ran from the police. And it just so happened the reason why the Colombian guy, the Miami Vice guy, was in my grandmother's dream was because probably about 3 weeks prior to, I took him down to the airport to fly him into Colombia to bring the dope back. But that guy we picked up in Florida, like it was right before like Brown County, we picked him up, and then they both went to Colombia together. So my grandmother saw this Spanish guy, white hat, because he had a white fucking hat on the day I drug him off, and it fucked me up. He didn't believe in, my homie didn't believe in God. He's still on the fence, but at the same time, he was like, it's gonna be all right. It's not our car, they can't pin on us. But then I heard the cop, Filipino cop, while I'm sitting in the back seat, I forgot this motherfucker slid a knife to me because he wanted me to poke the dude if he tried to rob him. So I'm sitting in the police car with a knife. Keep in mind, I still had this quarter in my pocket because they half-ass patted me anyway.
Yeah.
He slides me the knife. I got the knife on me now and dope. So I'm sitting there. We had power telephones back in the days. Yeah. So you had to put minutes on your phones.
Yeah.
So he slid me the phone every day because he had always told me I'm on my third strike if I get hit, and if I sit down, I'm just gonna eat everything. I'm gonna take the whole case. All right, cool. So I'm sitting in the car the whole time, and I hear the cop go, Yeah, we got him here with 1/4 ounce of the 8-ball heroin.
Oh shit.
And I'm looking at this motherfucker like, bro, y'all ain't weighing shit out. The crime scene, the technician vans usually come out, weigh all that shit out, and do all that shit. As he was saying he already had it, the crime scene van slides right behind his back, and I'm like, yeah, we done. So that's how the jam happened.
So how'd you get away with this shit? Is that a cliffhanger and shit? I was like, wait, there's more. Part 2.
Here's the beauty of this shit. Come to find out, Jacksonville, I found this out later. Jacksonville had an operation going on that Friday the 13th, where they jammed, they were watching everybody on all sides of the town, right? So they bust everybody at the same fucking time. I get drug off with this one cop. We get separated. They send me out, and this cop parks me in the Food Line parking lot. I had been in a car accident, so the whole time I'm complaining about sitting like this in the car. So the motherfucker goes, we sitting there, we're talking to some, it was like, I know it wasn't his wife. It had to be some sort of prostitute, some CI, something. But we're sitting in this fucking car for at least 45 minutes before he takes me to jail. So by the time we get to the jailhouse, I'm sitting, like where they have, of course, they have these holding cells. Like if you ever go to Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, you walk in, you bang a left, and there's these like these holding rooms. So I'm sitting there complaining about my back the whole time, and I fucked around. Like, no, I can't take this shit anymore. They took me inside of to go interrogate. I pulled these numbers.
Oh,
fuck
yeah,
that shit. Fuck this. Oh, thank God. So I'm sitting there. All of a sudden, they come and rush us the fuck out of it. Me separate. I'm separate from my homeboy. They pulled me out, and they had hit the north side. So they had like 15 other guys they was going to come bring in. So they pulled us all the way the fuck out. And it was amazing how when they snatched us, when we actually both met in the hallway going to the interrogation. He saw me with my cuffs forward. He still had his back. He looked down at my cuffs. I looked at him. He goes, "You good?" "Yeah, it's great." Boom, we separated. So I'm sitting in this fucking interrogation. So I write out my story. I'm an innocent bystander. I don't know what the fuck's going on. This is my whole play. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Look, I was going to get some McDonald's with this motherfucker. He was on the way to drop me off and said he had to stop. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Black cop, this is some typical bullshit. Filipino cop is a nice guy. The black cop, horrible. He wanted to play good cop, bad cop with me so long, and every time I wrote a statement, this son of a bitch, it's bullshit. You know what the fuck's going on? You know what the fuck's going on? You know what the fuck's going on? I'm like, man, look, bro, I have no fucking clue. Meanwhile, I still have this knife in my pocket, because I was half-ass searching.
You still got the work on you too?
Yes, I'm playing. So I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there like, it was like 11 hours they had me in there, just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he goes, the last time he come in is Gino. I fuck their name. Gino and Butch are these. Now, how cliche is these are names for cops? Gino's a Filipino, Butch is the black guy. So I'm sitting here like, look, man, I just want to get the fuck out. Write a statement every time I say the same shit. And me and my homeboy had talked to ourselves, talk all the time about what would happen if we ever got jammed up. We nicknamed ourselves Salt and Pepper because he was a white guy, I'm a black guy. So we did that shit all the time. Finally, this guy, I'm sitting there, and they're like, look, we believe you. Your buddy said everything is fine. You didn't know about it. He's going to take the whole charge. But what he did say, and about 5 minutes before he came in and actually went to go close this whole deal with me, he goes, I'm saying to myself, like, man, I'm looking at that two-way glass like, you motherfucker, let that baby get back. That's a powder I smoke right. Fuck. I got powder on me and I forgot about it. So, oh, fuck, they gonna book my ass. Because they was threatening 15 to 20 years and shit for all the shit that we had. We can share that together. And right there and then my heart sunk. Because I was doing good up until then. I was like, fuck, they gonna book me in the jail. And I got those goddamn knife. Door swings up, boom. Guy in the suit. Where the fuck this guy come from? I see that little gold badge. Fuck, these the feds. Oh. Dude says now, he says, listen, I know, you know, fuck these regular guys. But this heroin, I know it's in the safe in your apartment. He told me there's 2 bars in there. All I want is the heroin gone because nobody's seen 99% opioids in Jacksonville. And this is 2001. Before anybody, you know what I'm saying? We might have had X pills and shit like that. Other than that, no. So I'm sitting there, and this motherfucker goes, I just want that shit. We're leaving you. Now your buddy's gonna have to do time, but I just want that heroin out of your closet in the safe. When he said that, I knew my homeboy told him what was that. This is my best Academy Award was what?
What?
Huh? That's what the fuck is in the safe? God damn it! This motherfucker, oh. So he slid me the paper that had the code. It had the combination of it because I said I don't even know what the fucking combo is. So, meanwhile, these 2 dirty ass cops, that bag of chips that he had swapped out, where he made it a bag of chips instead of a regular, we walk right when they take me out. They walk right past the evidence room and go straight after their personal car, pop the trunk open. All of the shit that they see is from the house. The fucking vacuum seal bag, the vacuum seal, all that shit is in the trunk. It's not been logged in the evidence at all. He throws the chips in the back of the trunk, close the trunk. So they driving me home, and I'm thinking to myself, I had 2 spots, but the spot that I was at, where the safe was at, there's main residence. So I'm thinking to myself, fuck, they're gonna jam me up because if my little sister and my little brother are home, I'm endangering minors having shit in the house. So they can double jeopardy my ass and throw me right back in the gun table. So I'm sitting here to myself like, fuck. All the way home. Now they're talking about all kind of other shit. They ain't even talking about cases, they ain't talking to me. And the fucked up thing was, they knew my address. Because I never told them how to get to my house.
Damn.
But they drove me straight to my fucking apartment. And I went to go open the door, we finally get there, and they pull that hole. Looking up in the fucking roof and shit. Thank God. It was Friday the 13th, so my mother, as big as they are in the church, they were in a lockdown. Actually, no, that was Halloween. It was Halloween because that's why they were locked down in church. It was at the 31st. That's why I was like, what the fuck? Friday the 13th was the car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one or the first one?
Second.
What I was in.
The one you was in. Motherfucker, boy. So anyway, so they get to the safe, right? My mom, they had took the kids and they were in lockdown at church. That's why they weren't there. So I missed going back to jail for that shit. So I get to the safe, open up the safe, and the cop pushing to the side like I'm gonna take the gun out and shoot him or some dumb shit. And I never forget the look on his face. He was like, he licked the scale. And he opens up a bag of cut I had that was sitting in the bitch. He, that ain't too bad. Put it down, picks up my coat. Because I had another ounce sitting in it just chilling. Okay. Close that back. He said, you sure you got the guns in? Because I had a fucking duffel bag with cleaning, rifle cleaning shit in it. To understand how I ended up with all of his shit in my goddamn closet, because the motherfucker accidentally OD'd off the shit by 3 weeks before everything went to shit. So they get the dope.
Chain of events.
It was it was fucked up. From the time I dropped his ass off at the airport, he was supposed to be there for 9 days. They were smoking his shit back, and he ended up getting stuck there because Bill Clinton was on the tarmac doing a deal with Colombia. They had it's a rebel war going on at that time, so they shut down the airport, and this motherfucker had to stay extra 2 days with shit in it. So, meanwhile, the way I got out of the cop situation was this cop, the black cop that hated my guts. Later on down the road, a lot of people got their sentences overturned because they're gonna find out he was not logging shit in the evidence, shit was short, money was short, all kind of weird shit. So they take the dope, dude looks at me, he went inside, he found the heroin bars. There were only 2 bars. And of course these are like the fingertips from out of latex gloves and shit. So they're about that big, 10 grams a piece. So it was only 20 grams. The son of a bitch, they goes, well, I guess you gonna be the man for a little while, huh? I said, man, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. He looked at me and like, cut that bullshit out. And walked out the house. Whole time I had my phones off because I had passport. I had everybody phone shit, right? So the cops leave. I sit on the couch, just pitch black everything. I was just like, fuck this shit. I inhale, and I thought about that bag of coke, pulled that bitch out, bust out 2 big ass reels, and went through that shit in the goddamn toilet. But the funniest shit was I opened up and turned my phone on, and I had like 38 missed calls from the same dude I originally was just gonna make a 7-pound play with. Yeah. So he like, hey buddy, I'm trying to call y'all down. This ain't a good time, buddy. Hold that phone up, I took that goddamn battery out that bitch and said, fuck it, I called it a wrap. I was done. Next morning I wake up and walk outside my door to smoke a cigarette. And I see a motherfucking, it's the sheriff's car at the end of where the dumpster is, right by my apartment. The motherfucker looks at me and does me like this. I'm like, I'm done. Done. Completely done, because there was a chain of events that happened up until that, where I was like, I'm fucking done with this anyway. But yeah, come to find out he was dirty as fuck. And a lot of people got their convictions and shit overturned.
Damn.
But
yeah, that shit is crazy, yo. There was signs everywhere on that shit
all
telling
kind
you
of
not to do this shit, yo.
don't do it.
That's crazy, yo. That's a wild story.
Yeah.
Let me see what we're going on. 31 minutes. All right. Let's end this on a good note.
Yes.
Man, please tell the world about your kids.
Well, my kids are actually a blessing to begin with. I'm sorry, that was an old lady. I forgot to text her when I got here. But hell, that was a story in itself now that I think about it, because my oldest kid was not supposed to be here actually. He was born at 1 pound 13 ounces 2 months early. And I was thankful anyway for him in the first place. But the woman that's calling me right now is the woman I should have married.
It's never too late.
Well, no, we've been together now 10 years. I've been divorced. Well, 8 years, but I've been divorced for a while.
People getting married in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm thankful for my kids, because I never, for one, I've lost like 5 kids that were never born. Not abortions and anything like that. Just 5 miscarriages before I actually had my first son. My first son actually was a twin. Donovan was a twin, and she actually had a history of miscarriages herself. And Donovan was a twin, and his brothers were to die. Actually, we don't even know what it was, because she was pregnant with twins, and Donovan was one that made it, because we thought she miscarried, but it wasn't. It was another child. I had never heard of nothing like that, where you have a twin and one dies and the other lives. At that time I had no clue about it. But yeah. So I named Donovan. The reason why Donovan's name is what it is because my dad's name is Donnie. And my name is Junior.